Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an incredible day. To start things off, Litecoin's implementation of Mimblewimble has been in the news for quite a while now. That's an understatement. While many in the community have highlighted the possibilities that Mimblewimble will present, others have been more skeptical about the project. In a recent developing regarding this same development, you know what I meant, Grin developer David Burkett has published a progress report for the month of December, updating the community about his work towards implementing Mimblewimble on Litecoin. Burkett reported that after months of planning, development of the Mimblewimble extension block has finally started. Expanding on his work towards the implementation of Mimblewimble on Litecoin, Burkett revealed that he was primarily focused on restructuring the core logic that will be shared between Grin++ and Litecoin. This involves all of the logging, serialization, crypto, error handling, and common data structures, headers, blocks, transactions, he added. The Grin developer also put forth a list of priorities for the month of January, stating that one of Litecoin's priorities would be to determine a complex build process for the implementation. Further, Burkett would also be working towards a better definition of all Litecoin models, including the determination of the serialization formats of headers and kernels. Without going much further, for those of you who do not know, this has been a topic for at least, I think, the actual entirety of this year. One of the main discussions within the cryptocurrency space, I was listening to a podcast. I know you all heard me say that before. Ha ha ha. One that I was listening to yesterday was the actual coming of 2020 and what this is going to mean for many different cryptocurrency projects. And they were discussing the implementation of many different projects, trying to have ZK Starks, Mimblewimble, anything that allows for private transactions within certain blockchains. And they said they think that potentially next year, within a couple of hours at this point, is going to be the time when a lot of these things get implemented. And the person for the actual podcast was asking, when do you think it's going to happen for Bitcoin? And he said one of the really weird things about Bitcoin is that Bitcoin is the most surveyed crypto blockchain project out there, because governments figured out how to do it a couple of years ago, and they do it because of KYC, AML. They want to know exactly what's going on. But he said we're going to get to a point where even before the news that we had, I think for both Litecoin and Bitcoin, I think a lot of private transactions can be implemented with a soft fork, so there's no need to even have like a major upgrade. It's just something that has to be, it's there. So even right here, for those of you looking at or not looking at the screen, it says the 29th of January. That is the beginning of this year. Litecoin creator Charlie Lee to make coin more fungible and private. This was the news that we had, was that apparently Charlie Lee was by the end of this year. I was going to make a video, then I decided not to. There's a lot of stuff that happened during this year that we were told would happen. And I don't mean price predictions and stuff like that. I mean like upgrades. This was going to happen, but it seemed a bit, it wasn't mean-spirited, but I mean, in this industry, as everything does take a while to actually implement, to upgrade, the coding does take a long time. I decided against it, but there's at least 18 different things that we heard at the beginning of this year that were supposed to have happened, and none of them have actually taken place. So there's no exact date for this. I hope that we actually do get this soon. I think what they're trying to, part of the discussion of what they had before for Litecoin was to be able to have the transactions to be, you can either have obfuscated transactions or you can have normal transactions by the flick of a switch or like the click of a button or something like that. But hopefully this does end up happening soon. I think it would give Litecoin a bit of a push for my own reasons. Anyway, it's being worked on. I think we're supposed to have gotten it by, I think, Q3 of this year. Didn't happen, so hopefully by Q1, within the first couple of months of next year, we see a private transaction Litecoin. Let's move on. Next up, France's top financial regulator has published new rules regarding the licensing of digital asset service providers, or DASPs, as well as guidelines for applying for the non-mandatory license and informing the AMF about the internal cybersecurity practices. The Financial Market Authority released the rules on Wednesday and the guidelines on Thursday of last week, opening up the opportunity for firms to apply. The rules and guidelines expand upon those France's Pact Law, one of the first cryptocurrency exchange packages passed in Europe. That's a weird sentence. Pact passed in May of 2019. To apply, each DAS has to send the AMF a 2-year business plan, a list of digital assets the firm is going to service, a list of geographies the firm will operate in, and the firm's organizational chart, among other things. So they have to pretty much act as if they were a bank. Licensed DASPs are required to have at least professional indemnity insurance or a minimum amount of reserve funds, at least, so they're a bank. Everything that they're saying is like a bank, and procedures to prevent money laundering and terrorist financing. The license is optional, which is the weird part. The license is optional for crypto firms operating in France, however. The French government only mandates that crypto custodians and any firm dealing with fiat to crypto or crypto to fiat services register with the AMF for anti-money laundering and anti-terrorist financing reason. The French regulator also released specific rules for crypto custodians, crypto exchanges, crypto broker dealers, and crypto custodians. The main news being the European Union, I think, was trying to have a cohesive guideline for what was going to happen with cryptocurrencies within the European Union. Apparently, every single country seems to be releasing their own set of rules. We had news from I think it was the IMF and the European Central Bank that they wanted like a blanket thing over the entire EU, but every country seems to be releasing their own rules. I think we have rules from Spain, from Portugal, I think from Italy, from France now. I think Germany also released one, and I think maybe one of the Nordic countries has also, they're not part of the EU, but I think they came forward at some point and were like, yeah, this is what we're also going to do. So this has been a very long year of laws. We were wondering in 2018 if we were going to have these laws, because we were told that we would get them during the beginning of 2018, but the entirety of this year, not all of it, you know what I mean, has been about the regulations around cryptocurrencies. And these are the regulations, the significant part of it being that we were told by financial institutions and by banks and by this and by that we needed these things in order for the market to be more secure, for the market to be this, for people to get into the market. So we have it. It's here. It's there. The other really, I mean, for me, at least, the thing that kind of stands out for the most part right here is that it's only mandated for fiat to crypto and crypto to fiat. This is also why I think we've seen a surge in the amount of stable coins, because if there's only a mandate for fiat to crypto and crypto to fiat, what happens if you just swap from crypto to crypto? Then imagine 5 years down the line when more of these things have been integrated and more people are using them, more people are swapping them back and forth, and everyone is just swapping crypto to crypto, but no one's even swapping into fiat anymore because maybe the prices have gone up so high that people simply don't have to. What then happens? It's, I think a lot of countries are going to, I give it 2 years, 2 to 3 years. They're going to start reevaluating the things that they've done within the cryptocurrency space and probably change them rapidly. The same exact way that the people from New York State are talking about changing their bit license because people are simply just going to another state and doing business there. Quite fascinating indeed. Let's move on. Next up, data clearly suggests a link between Bitcoin's price volatility and global Google searches for the top crypto last month. The value of Bitcoin nosedived to around 6,500 and having stayed above 8,000 for a considerable period before that. This downturn showcased Bitcoin's worst market performance over the past 7 months, with the flagship crypto's last stop below the 6,500 mark occurring in May. However, even with this aforementioned reversal of Bitcoin futures, data available on Google Trends suggests that global interest in the premier cryptocurrency seems to increase every time the asset witnesses sudden price movements, whether they be up or down. Also, it bears mentioning that last month, the term Bitcoin reached its highest searching ranking since the 26th of October, a time when the coin was trading above $9,200 US. Lastly, another interesting point that we even went over, I think, a couple of months ago as well, that I found very surprising. Another interesting point worth highlighting is that the majority of the interest being directed towards the word Bitcoin seems to be coming in form of developing African nations such as Nigeria, South Africa, and Ghana, as well as smaller European countries like Austria and Switzerland. Here's the actual chart right here. It's actually very fascinating. The interest by region, the top 5 in the world searching for the term Bitcoin are Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana, Austria, and Switzerland. You'd assume that they'd be completely different countries, especially with all the news. We get nothing but news from the US. It is very rare that we get crypto news from Brazil, from Canada, from, I was going to say Russia. Russia's usually there as well. Australia, not, even from these countries, we don't receive an awful amount of news. And I wonder what the reason for the term searching is. Because you might think is, oh, completely positive people are searching for it, therefore they're looking for a way to buy it. Is it like, we've seen before that we've had news that there are a number of other countries who have been trying to strike fear into the hearts of people within their country and make sure that when they hear about cryptocurrencies that it actually terrifies them and that they may be looking for it as like an implementation of a new ban or something like that. But as of right now, I don't think we've heard of anything like that. I don't think there's any country who's on the cusp of banning it. You could say India, but India also hasn't released any cryptocurrency. They've been talking about releasing cryptocurrency regulation for the past 2 years, and they have nothing. I feel very bad for the people in that country because while even the US has given some type of tax, legal, what a security is. Anyway, very fascinating. I find stuff like this. The human mind is quite interesting because you would assume that as prices were going down that people would not only lose interest but not search for it at all. Like you don't look, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's like the whole like this isn't a phrase, but like the whole like plane burning syndrome. Like if the plane is going down, everyone's going to search for the news about the plane going down, as opposed to like, I don't know, if it sets a new record. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. The point is, we've seen a lot of fluctuations this year for the word Bitcoin, and even more so as the price was going down, especially at the beginning of this year and also the end of last year. The amount of spikes in people searching for the term Bitcoin and also buying Bitcoin and then buying Bitcoin over the counter kept on rising as the price kept on going lower. A little weird. Very, very, very little weird. Let's move on. Next up, the Web3 browser known as MetaMask took to Twitter to inform that Google Play App Store has suspended their DApp browser for Android users, currently citing no valid reasons behind the action. MetaMask finds it inappropriate and expressed their concern via Twitter. They said in the last week, the MetaMask Android client was suspended by the Google Play App Store. They cited their policy that bans mining on mobile, which we don't. Appeal rejected. For those of you who don't know, MetaMask is kind of like it was a browser extension that I had to install one time as well. It didn't work out that well. Okay, I'll be fair. I downloaded MetaMask around the same exact time when CryptoKitties had come out, because you needed the MetaMask thing to be able to play CryptoKitties, and I was like, let me see if it's actually any fun. But around the same exact time, the Ethereum network was clogged because the transactions from CryptoKitties and people were sending tons of microtransactions, which were causing the network to become severely backed up. So every single time that I tried to send money through MetaMask to CryptoKitties or something like that, it was like what's the word? You kept on getting an error that said that you had to pay gas yourself for the actual transaction. You had to put in the amount of gas that you wanted to pay, and it was kind of all out there. This also, for those of you who didn't pick up the timing, this actually coincided when their thing was removed around the same exact time when YouTube, who was owned by Google, shut off the channels for the for people on YouTube during all the cryptocurrency channels. Like, it was the exact same time. It says Google has suspended MetaMask's built-in Ethereum wallet and decentralized DApp browser for the Android mobile users from its Play Store. MetaMask elaborated that the reason behind the suspension was Google's anti-mining policy on mobile phones. I don't think they have an actual mining client. Maybe there was something like hidden behind the scenes, maybe that even MetaMask didn't know about. About a year or two ago, if you had checked the Google Play App Store, whatever it's called, they had tons of apps you could download, and people were like, yeah, mine Bitcoin here, you can mine this. And a friend of mine downloaded it and his phone was like garbage the next week. So there's a lot of like what's the word, not hacking, it's malware and stuff on a lot of these programs. And maybe they thought that MetaMask also had one. For as long as MetaMask has been around, it's just been like a browser extension for you to be able to pay for things in Ether. So maybe this will, it's very odd. No one knows if these are just random accidents. Are these attacks on the cryptocurrency space? Remember, all at once last year, when every single cryptocurrency ad, website, anything that sold crypto was completely banned from Google, from this place, from Facebook, from Instagram, like everything that dealt with the word crypto or Bitcoin was completely gone in like a week. Every single company had decided all at once they didn't want to have them anymore, and then they slowly rolled them back out. It kind of is what it is. I mean, this is what happens when you have centralized authorities. It really is what it is. This is why I'm hopeful for the future of the cryptocurrency space, because unless something is actively malicious and is trying to take advantage of people, then it should be removed. But if you're trying to make a browser extension to allow people to pay in Ether or to pay video games in Ether, then yeah, kind of is what it is, like I said, and let's move on. Here's an exciting one. It is crucial for altcoin and blockchain projects to deliver on initial promises. Understatement. OmiseGo appears to be on the right track following its first mainnet transaction. We spoke about this briefly-ish during the live stream the other day. It says it appears as if OmiseGo has been around for several years now. I think it's been around a year and a half or 2 years. That in itself is interesting, considering its own native blockchain hadn't even been tested until this week. It is certainly true that a lot of work has taken place behind the scenes of the project, combined with some unexpected delays that... what? For those of you who don't know what OmiseGo is, I'll slow down. The original intention of OmiseGo was to, I believe, unbank the banked. People call them the PayPal of crypto. They wanted to make their own payment service, so and so and so. What got me intrigued for OmiseGo was the fact that they were working very closely with the people from Ethereum. There were many web calls, web conferences, web this, web that, working together, and also some weird videos of them kind of hanging around, of them talking about developing the next stage of Ethereum. And the people from OmiseGo were there as well. Whenever you saw like a press conference or like an Ask Me Anything like that was live or something, it was always the OmiseGo team with Vitalik Buterin. They worked incredibly close, and the idea was that the people from OmiseGo were helping to implement something called Plasma that would allow Ethereum, and therefore OmiseGo as well, to have over 1 million transactions per second. So when you talk about the future of Ethereum, especially in 2017, 2018, no, that's about it. That was the main go-to, because what's really interesting, I'll put it that way, is the team from OmiseGo mentioned very early, they said, we don't like giving out a lot of news. If something major happens, we'll release the news. In a world where we are used to having an avalanche of crypto news just about every single day, the team from OmiseGo would maybe update the community once every 4 months, if even. So a lot of people were kind of like, what's been going on? I think you could still contact them on like social media pages, probably just Twitter. But they've been not hush hush. It's just been more like they mentioned, they were like, if we're working on something, we're not going to keep hyping it up. We're going to do it until it's completely done. The OmiseGo developers have now finished all the major audits of their project. Some of the infrastructure's code has also been removed, primarily because it serves no purpose as of yet. What is of great interest is how the first mainnet transaction has been completed successfully. OmiseGo will maintain a proof-of-work root chain, which needs to be put through its proper places. This Friday, the first mainnet transaction was completed successfully. It encompasses a deposit transaction and exit start. I mean, it's really been a journey. Like it's I wish that we heard more from OmiseGo. For those of you who are wondering, yes, I still have all of my OmiseGo. I have not sold any of it. It's more like I think it's also fascinating that this news comes about at the exact same time, once again, around the time when Ethereum is going to have its upgrades. I'm pretty sure I put it in another video. Ethereum has an upgrade tomorrow on the 1st of January. And I think the transition, like the actual upgrade to Ethereum 2.0, is happening on the 3rd of January. like we're here. This month went by extremely fast. And this is why I think that the actual news of OmiseGo being like, okay, yeah, we're good. Like we also have our mainnet up, or rather their first mainnet transaction is incredible, because OmiseGo is going to be built on top of Ethereum. So any upgrades that Ethereum gets, OmiseGo also benefits from it as well. Here's the actual blog post right here. It says blockchain team update number 34, the OmiseGo network's first mainnet transaction. I can't be any happier because it's taken such a long time. And then Plasma, like they've been working on Plasma for a very long time. Vitalik said, or he mentioned before, that the upcoming upgrades, he said this in 2018, or either that or the very beginning of this year, 2019. He said the upgrades that are coming to Ethereum over the next however long are going to allow Ethereum to be able to handle, I think he said 10 to 100,000 transactions per second. And then he was like, once we have Plasma on top of that, and once we have this on top of that, all the things that they've been talking about doing for the upgrades that are also supposed to be coming relatively soon. He said, I think it'll be able to like 1,000x, which would give Ethereum a 100 million transaction per second thing. That is probably, if you want to be completely honest, that is probably not going to happen until the next 10 years. But at least this year, this upcoming year, Ethereum should at least be able to handle between 3,000 to 5,000 transactions per second. That is going to be monstrous. Anyway, that's the OmiseGo news. I wish we had more all the time, but at least they keep us updated however they can. And yeah, let's move on. I just walked. I slammed my face into the microphone. I was not paying attention. Let's move on. Next up, the Commonwealth of the Bahamas is the newest country to adopt its own digital currency. Starting the other day, a couple days ago, residents of the Xrp district will have access to a pilot run of the country's central bank digital currency, according to an official, why can't I read? According to an official press release published on Tuesday, the day before, not Thanksgiving, Christmas. The pilot run is called the Project Sand Dollar, as the CBDC is called the Sand Dollar. The announcement also states that the Bahamas digital currency furthers the Bahamian Payment System Modernization Initiative, or PSMI, probably not called PSMI. The PSMI started back in the early 2000s, and still continues periodically to this early 2000s. That's a long time for modernization. The Sand Dollar will begin in Xrp and will later spread to the Abaco Islands in northern Bahamas. The government plans for this to be an organic spread that will get there in the first half of 2020. It is, however, important to note that the Bahamas digital dollar is simply a digital version of the Bahamian dollar. This was highlighted in an official document for the Project Sand Dollar by the Central Bank of the Bahamas. The document specifies that the Sand Dollar is not a cryptocurrency and is not built like any other digital currencies available today. Even though it will have the same value as the Bahamian dollar, it is also not a stable... What? Of course it's stable then. How is it getting the value? The Sand Dollar has no external reserves back. The point is, the Bahamas now has a central bank digital currency. I feel... Wouldn't it... No. Kudos to them for entering the future. But what? You know what I can't wait for? Little fireside chat. And this isn't in a negative way. It's more like I really can't wait for this. This is probably the 18th, 19th country who's either announced and or has released some form of a pilot, this or that, of a digital cryptocurrency token thing that they're going to have. I am fascinated to see in the next 10 years if these still exist or what exactly is going to be taking place. A lot of the countries releasing these things, I feel like, are doing so simply because they want to be hip, be in the now, to say that they're doing it. But I feel like a lot of the projects are kind of just not meh. I don't want to use the word meh, but it just doesn't really make a lot of sense. So, I wholeheartedly would love a world in the future. You know what I would love? And it's kind of weird. I would love a world where the 5 major currencies in the world were cryptocurrencies. And I was going to say them out loud. Kind of wondering if I should actually say what I would like out loud. I would love 5 main cryptocurrencies to kind of be used by all the countries of the world. And then I would love all the other smaller ones, or the ones that aren't those 5, to be used simply as daily transactions on video games, on phones. If you have to pay a bill, I would love that. And I feel like that this is where a lot of the space is going. Because, I don't know, I have my own opinions. I'll say which coins because I know it's bothering a couple of people, me not saying it. I would love if the world ran on Bitcoin, Ether, XRP, Litecoin, and the 5th one I struggled with internally. I wouldn't mind lumens. And I know some people just went, I wouldn't mind lumens being one of the 5. But even then, I didn't mind a world where Cardano, Tron, VeChain, Thor, and all these other things still also lurked behind the scenes, or were simply being used in mass by other corporations, because I feel like this is where everything is going. It's kind of like a whole Tezos thing. It seems that the usage is going to be there, just a matter of, I think the next 10 years are going to be bonkers. I don't know how else to really phrase that. Think of where you were 10 years ago, and think of where you are now. Think how much has changed, how much you've changed as a person, what you've learned, what you've seen, where you've traveled. You may be living in an entirely different place than where you were exactly 10 years ago. Now, imagine a world where cryptocurrencies have taken over. Has anyone else seen the rumors going around that apparently, what's it called? I think Apple is really, like, there are all these companies who are going to be releasing these like crazy technologies. Someone just invented a see-through battery a couple of weeks ago. Someone, I think, is going to start mass producing a clear TV, like a see-through TV. Has anyone seen this? Like, I think the next 10 years are going to be absolutely insane. I was reading about the VR and AR projects that are going to be, that is virtual reality and augmented reality projects that are going to be coming out within the next, like, 2 years. I'm excited for next year, but I also think it's going to be wild. I don't expect a slow period over the next 10 years. If crypto starts shooting up again in price, I think it's going to cause a chain reaction unlike anything that we've ever seen before, because everyone's waiting. And it's not even like just some people are waiting. It's like everyone is holding their breath for things to kind of kick off, because I think in the air, I think we can all feel it. It's this really weird energy that's kind of smacking us all around. And don't deny it, because you definitely feel it as well. Anyway, enough with the ridiculous talk. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters: Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Mr. Pickles, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Barebones Mining, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Mohair Maroney, Master Ventures in Thailand, Brady Niels, Woody and Daisy, Triple M and J, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Crypto Joe, Bankroll Network, Adobo, Mill Wheezy, Can Nick, Strange Radio Central, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Cryptopolis, Nicholas Renault, One Piece, One Love, Damien, Setsuna, Nick Kanaya, Richie Rich III, Vlad the Impaler, Crypto Beer Shipmate, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hitch Test Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day, Yes, 2, Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Sammy Boucha, Ting Tang Walla Walla Bing Bang, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Bake Me a Cake, and Shoop Shoop, Diddy Wop, Hummer Hummer, Wang Dang. Thank you all very, very much for your support. And I mean that. This has been a very... No, I was going to say a very trying year. It hasn't been. I think this year has actually been very great for a lot of things. The growth of cryptocurrency, the growth of the infrastructure. We may not all care for the laws and KYC, ABC, AML, all these other things that have popped up. But like I said, we expected them. We knew that they were going to happen at a certain point. At the moment, for those of you not looking at the screen, the prices are down. It's not to be unexpected at this point. We know that the market has fluctuations. The last couple of weeks we've seen, I don't know if you've noticed, we've seen Bitcoin especially slamming back and forth, up and down, and price within every single day. Even just earlier, it was up here, and now it's down here. I think we'll all be fine. I'm extremely, maybe a bit too much. I'm very hopeful for the future. I'm hopeful for where things are going to be, what we're all going to have. I try to avoid too much like money talk as far as like, yeah, we're all going to be rich, but this is also something that I also do genuinely hope for. I do hope that if not 2020, then sometime soon, that everyone is able to have a very comfortable life, that people can be comfortable with themselves, comfortable with the cryptocurrency market, comfortable with what they have. I don't know. I hope you all enjoy your day. Hope you all enjoy your evening. I hope you go do something fun. If not, I mean, stay in, watch some Netflix. I personally, I'm going to be doing stuff early and then just try. I just want to be home. I'm not in the mood to go to a party. I'm not in the mood to go jump around in a club party setting. I'm just not. I'm not there today. Just want to relax. Probably going to watch something funny on Netflix. Around midnight, I'll go, woo! And then I'll get back to it. Because I never give myself any breaks. Someone was asking before, like, what I did when my channel was down. I kept on working on other projects. I just didn't rest. I think one day I made, like, I dare not say the number out loud. I made about 7 video game videos for my other channel, and I just, yeah, I'm a bit of a madman. I never thought I'd be a workaholic, but alas, here I am. For all of you, try to take time out and just relax and enjoy things. The last couple of years, I mean, always, this has always happened. This isn't like a brand new thing. The beginning of the year is always the craziest. No matter if it was 2017, 2018, 2019, the first month is always the weirdest. There's always like some type of a global conflict. Some world leader does something, has a problem. It's always something. It's been this way since forever, as long as I have been alive. So I'm expecting the first month to be absolutely insane. I was reading an article talking about the how the stock market has been outperforming all these other things this year and how the stock market is doing so well. And that gold bug guy was like, yeah, gold is also doing so much better than Bitcoin. And it's like, but it's not. Like we have the actual numbers. I think he was talking about how every other asset class was rallying. And the article was discussing how the last time that we had seen the stock market continuously rallying and giving us all these brand new highs and new so-and-so, it toppled a couple of months after. And a lot of people have been once again forecasting that the stock market at some point, rather, doesn't look well. The Fed has pumped $1 trillion into it. No healthy market needs $1 trillion to be injected into it to be able to stay afloat. I don't know. What does everyone think is going to happen next year? We're going to have... Let me see if I can remember everything. Bitcoin's halving is about 5 months away, which has been the talk of the town since 2017. I think one time, we had a countdown, and I think it said 1,000 days, or like 995 days or something. Like, we've been talking about this for a very long time. Ether has about 5 upgrades coming in 2020. And the first 2 of them are tomorrow, and the second one is on the 3rd. And then I think after that, we're going to have other implementations of other upgrades and stuff like that take place during the course of 2020 as well. And I think by the end, I think they said of 2021, we should have the full scope of Ethereum 2.0. But even then, this year, we're going to, this is so they say, we're going to have proof of stake on Ethereum. What happens to the cryptocurrency market? What happens to Tezos? What happens to all the other coins when we have proof of stake? When the issuance rate goes down, when less Ether are being made, when more people are hoarding Ether to be able to, I'll tell you right now, I'll be hyper honest with you. If we get to a situation where all of these upgrades work, people are testing them, yada, 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 about a week later, and if Ethereum starts to move up, even if Ethereum starts to move down, not financial advice, I'm probably going to pick up more Ether. The prospect of being able to not have to buy mining rigs and just have the coin is insane. It's actual insanity. If you saw that video that I posted on Twitter a couple of days ago, linking to that mini documentary type thing where they were talking to Vitalik Buterin and about Ethereum and stuff like that, like, I think Ethereum is going to go very far. And I think a lot of people have set them aside as I'm like twitching my fingers, as all the upgrades have taken a bit of time. What's happening with XRP next year? Nothing I can think of off the top of my head. I think the team from Ripple announced that they were going to start, I think, selling less XRP. I think that was like the end of the major news that we had from the people from Ripple. So if that does end up happening, and less XRP ends up actually going out there, if more usage ends up happening, I think maybe Garlinghouse said something very soon that more companies are going to be using XRP, or more banks or something like that, or he's expecting for something to actually end up happening next year. Then we end up getting into another situation where there's less XRP hitting the market, more of it's being burned, more of it's being used. And if the price ends up going up, more people are going to be hoarding it as well. Litecoin, private transactions, EOS is supposed to have Voice coming out relatively soon, so they say, and I am still skeptical on it. I'm not giving anyone any ID to be able to post anywhere. That's just not, no, that's not going to become a thing in my world, at least. I expect Binance will continue to do well. I'm not expecting Binance coin to nosedive back to $4 anytime soon, especially with the way that they've structured it. I'm looking to see if we hear something from Lumens as far as the usage of the blockchain from IBM, if that's going to actually take place. Tron, Tezos. I wonder if we're going to get, like, most coins don't usually feel the Coinbase effect anymore. But for some reason, Tezos is green when the rest of the market is down. That means if the rest of the market was green as well, Tezos would probably be up around a good 4 or 5%. It's been doing fairly well. And I wonder if this is only because it's the current only top 12 coin that's really being pushed forward by Binance and Coinbase and other places as like their staking coin. Like, if we get staking is right next door. If we get staking on Cardano and it works out and like we're not on the testnet, like on the mainnet, I wonder. Does anyone know? Wait, I was going to ask if anyone knows. I assume so. Let me take the question back. I was going to ask if anyone knows if Cardano is going to actually have their full proof of stake release next year. I would hope so. The testnet started in December. They said the testnet has been working out, so we hear. One would assume Q1, Cardano should also have it. By January, February, March, I'm going to say April. By April, I'm interested in hearing news that Cardano and proof of stake hybrid Ethereum have been also added to all these platforms as like a staking thing. Cardano and Ethereum both have very large communities behind them. I think the coins would probably lose their minds. I think everyone's been, and Cardano still has not been added to Coinbase. And I don't know if that's simply a, let's wait until you have all of your upgrades kind of thing. Because from what I've heard through the years, I think people who now work on Ethereum used to work at Coinbase. People who left the Ethereum project to create their own coins, a branch of them were also the people from Cardano. So I assume the people from Cardano also know the people from Coinbase. Speculation, but it's probably true. So maybe they've been in talks to be like, hey, let's wait until everything is completely rolled out and you'll be the other coin that ends up coming out as our staking mascot. I wonder what that would do for the price. Has Cardano ever hit $1? I think it hit $1. Did it hit $1? I don't remember. Honestly, don't remember. Was it 51 cents? 49 cents? Maybe I'm thinking of Tron. I think Tron hit 49 cents. 30 cents? 20 cents? 25 cents? I don't remember. Expecting big things for it. Me and my friend were discussing what the future of cryptocurrency holds for us. We had a discussion, me and all of you, a couple of days ago about what coins I plan on buying in 2020. I can only, I want to say, hold on to nonsense for so long. I'm really, and I don't want to say desperately hoping, I'm really hoping that all of the promises that we've had from so many other cryptocurrency projects, that they really do it. And this is why I think that this has captivated me for so long, the entire Ethereum thing, because I want it to happen. I want Ethereum to upgrade. I want Ethereum to have all of these things. I want Bitcoin to have the other upgrades and the other side chains that it's going to have. I want XRP to be implemented. I want Litecoin to have private transactions. I want EOS to have voice. I want EOS to have thousands of dApps built on top of them. I want Lumens in my own weird way to be used in mass by IBM. Like, I want all of these things to actually come to be, but I think a lot of me is more impatient than I should be, or I allow myself to be too impatient when I know that this space is still very new. Like, cryptocurrencies have only been, in general, have been around for 10 years. That's nothing. As far as financial or anything else, or as an asset class, that is nothing. There was a guy, he was saying he feels like that we're around like the Netscape era of the cryptocurrency space. Like, people get it, but people still don't get it. People still have like AOL and stuff like that in the cryptocurrency space, because people really haven't been able to like weed out exactly what's a good project and what's a bad project. But he said he feels like within the next like 2 or 3 years, we'll get it. We'll understand what has value and why it has value. Like, in the very beginning, anything that was on the internet, people used because they were like, oh, this is the internet. It's going to be worth $1 bajillion. And then you realize, well, those websites are the exact same thing. That website offers what the other one offers, but that website is quicker, faster, cooler, stronger, better. You know, it has more of a better interface. And then we slowly drop the other things, like remember Ask Jeeves? People still use Yahoo, but not as much as people used to use Yahoo like when I was a toddler, or you know, the whole time frame. So I think we're going to get there, and I think really, if you want like really honesty, I think I'm absorbing the anxiety of the cryptocurrency community. And it's something that I didn't realize before, and I'm not blaming anyone. Like, it's not me being like, it's you. No, it's more like I didn't realize how much I was affected by other people. I wasn't understanding how much I was affected by wanting all of you to succeed, and the frustration that I got from other people with the cryptocurrency market not moving. I'm used to the market not moving. I've been in crypto for so long. Like, I know, like I told you, I think it was 2016 and 2015. I don't think the market moved at all. I think Bitcoin went up by 0.5% and just stayed there. That's obviously an overstatement. I'm over exaggerating, but the market didn't move. And I remember for 2 years I was like, what is going on? Just being so frustrated. I remember I think I was putting money into the market, but not even looking back on it. It's always those situations, not financial advice. I wasn't putting as much as I possibly could have, because I was like, why isn't the market moving? By the beginning of 2017, when the market was actually starting to propel itself upwards, I was like, you idiot. You had all that time to put it in 2015, 2016. Why didn't you do it? And it's because I was annoyed that the market wasn't moving. So now that I'm used to these movements, now that I'm used to these lull periods, now that I'm used to these like canyon type drops, I realize that a lot of other people who are even funnier, if this is your first major drop, if this is your first major bear market, I don't think it's even a bear market anymore. I think it's just a lull period. I think it's an accumulation period. If this is your first time, when we go up again and prices skyrocket and go completely insane, we're going to have a whole new wall of people get into the cryptocurrency market. And you are going to then become a veteran. You'll be able to tell these people, just relax, calm down, it's totally fine. I think so many people have gotten into the market, and so many people had major expectations of what could happen or what should happen or what was going to happen within the next couple of months, that I think it drove a lot of people insane. And this is, I think part of the reason why that person and or people was flagging people, the 18, 19, 20 cryptocurrency channels who were affected, I think it was out of frustration. And I tried to sympathize with them. I mean, I'm not their best friend. Don't be malicious for the sake of being malicious, but it's kind of like that guy. and all those other people who were crying in their cars when BitConnect fell. It's this like this hope and this dream. Like, I'm sure I can't put myself in other people's shoes. I can't put myself in other people's bodies or lives to see what they're going through. And I'm pretty sure to them, the crypto market going up probably means a lot more than me. Like, I'm not gonna tell you all my things that I plan on doing. My best friend knows. But I have a lot of goals and desires that I also want to do as well. But I'm pretty sure for other people, it's something as simple as like having stability in their family, in their life, getting money for their wife, like it's just very things that I can't put myself into other people's shoes for. But I think it causes this anxiety within the market. Like when the market goes up, like when Bitcoin hit 14,000, do you remember that feeling once again that we had from Bitcoin going from 3,200 to 14,000? Everybody was like, it was like this really big, like, okay, this is it. It's going to happen. And I could feel every single morning just waking up, like the mental string between me and everyone else in the cryptocurrency space, and like this super euphoric feeling. And then as prices started going down and prices didn't really recover this year, this is when I was telling you all the time, I was getting something that I had never seen before. I had seen people like attacking me in the comment section or calling me stupid, idiot. You have no idea what you're talking about. I still get those all the time, and I assume I'll get them forever. But it was more malicious against me and other people, and I was like, it's the market. For me, the market means nothing. Like, I know that it's going to recover. I know that things are going to be great. This is, once again, this is how I feel. From what I've seen before, from the patterns that Bitcoin has had, and the general level of adoption that is, we have a 35,000x of adoption compared to 2016 and 15. It's unprecedented. So for me, it's like, I knew it was going to do well before, and I know in the future it's going to do extremely well. But when I read the comment section, when I go through what people are saying and I try to respond, and you know how many times I've seen comments of people really angry, and I try to respond, and I'm like, no, I can't, because they not that they won't get it, like my words will mean nothing to them. Your anger won't subside simply because I'm like, it's fine, it's okay, it'll go back up eventually. That means nothing to a lot of people. It's this, you know what I'm saying? We've all been there. We've all had those emotional stints where we're kind of like, what's going on, what's happening? But I absorb all of it. While someone may write a comment in the comment section once, mine is like, I get all the comments. I get all 800 comments. While you may write one, I see all of them and I read all of them, and reading that every single day becomes, I want to use the word draining. There are no other real projects down here that I explicitly care about. I don't care about Monero, Huobi, Chainlink. These may, I see people screaming at me once again in the comment section. These projects may be doing absolutely phenomenally amazing things. I choose to focus on the upper crust simply because it's the most spoken about. And that's just kind of how things are. I am hopeful that we will continue to get more news from the people from OmiseGo. I think we will. OmiseGo has hung in there. It's still in the top 50. OmiseGo has done exceedingly well for a coin that has no news. Zero. It's doing okay. I hope it performs well in the future. I think, man, you don't get it. I think next year is going to be, technology-wise, I don't think not that we won't be able to handle it. I think it'll just be a lot for all of us. I think that's pretty much all I had to say. It was more like a year-end send-off. If you're here for the long term, then we will walk down that rocky road together, tripping over stones, picking each other back up. I think it's the only way. We need more. I know I've said it before, and it sounds cheesy as heck, but we need a lot more unity within the cryptocurrency space. This market is not easy. This space is not easy to be in. We've seen a lot less infighting than we have before. I think fighting will always take place. There will always be people who like Apple more than Microsoft, people who like this more than that. I think crypto infighting will always be a thing, forever and ever. But we need to really understand that this is, whether you like or hate XRP, whether you like or hate Bcash, whether you like or hate Binance Coin, It's still part of our market. And when we knock down other projects, we kind of knock down the entire space. I know a lot of people who have been in the crypto market and have left the crypto market because of the negativity in the space, and people just simply don't want to be a part of it. Who wants to be a part of a negative anything? Like, imagine going to what are those things that Apple always has? Like the keynote speeches. Imagine every single time that someone announced something, everyone was like, "Oh, Microsoft does it so much better." Did you hear that? See-through computer? No. Linux is gonna have a better one. It's like just take it for what it is. If you don't like the project, look to the side. There are a lot of projects I don't like. There are a lot of projects I think are fraudulent. I just simply don't talk about them on the channel. I kind of leave them be, because the neither I nor you nor anyone in the community needs the negativity from my channel pulsating through their space. Because then you take that negativity with you the entire day, and then it's kind of how things are. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope that you all are continue to have an amazing, wonderful, awesome, mega, super, ultra cool, crypto-tastic day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it's absolutely fantastic. Hope you all enjoy your evening. Hope you all are ready for the madness. It's not going to slow down. Thank you all, every single one of you, once again, for watching and or listening. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.